Were you handcuffed somewhat by the no trade as far as Nyquist approving where he'd?
Not really. Nyquist had signed off that I could go to a number of places. He did give me one place that he didn't want to go to, but for the most part, he was open to going to a lot of different places.
Any phone calls this afternoon? Any interest on?
Not really. A few phone calls, but nothing close to a deal. You know, at the end of the day, to rebuild, going with youth has got to be done through the draft. It's got to be done through multiple picks. And I think that we're trying to acquire multiple picks. Would I like to have acquired more picks? Yeah, I'd love to have acquired more picks, but like I said, the marketplace speaks. Well, for the Cup, I mean, a long playoff run, it's a while. I mean, you just got to look around the league and look at the teams, and some teams are real good teams, and they haven't gone on long playoff runs yet, and they've been building for a while. So, you know, I think we have to build a foundation. We're in the process of building a foundation. I think some of those young players are on our team. I think there's some players that are in our system that we own, can be part of that foundation. And hopefully some of these draft picks in the next 2 to 3 years can be part of that foundation. Now, then at some point in time, we need to either get into the free agent market to add, or you trade some of these young players or some of these futures to acquire somebody when your team gets better and sign that player to a long-term contract. But I think that in the short term, we have to build lots of assets, lots of young players through draft picks. We have to get those young players onto our team. And as you've watched our team this year, certainly I think up front, the young players are taking over our team. The offensive, you know, if you look when our team goes in the power play, it's lots of young players. On the back end, we've still got lots of veteran players. You know, Chalowski and Hronik. We got couple of young defensemen. We've got another 2 or 3 young defensemen in the system that we think have a chance to be NHL players. You know, in the next couple of years. But it's, you know, when you're building through the draft and you're building through 18-year-olds, it's going to take time. So I'm preaching patience. And and again, between the deal last year for Thomas Tatar, this year for Nyquist and Jensen, I think we acquired, a first-round pick and 3 seconds and 2 thirds. One of the thirds can go to a second. So I'm trying to speed the process up by, you know, last year we had 2 firsts, 2 seconds, sort of, I don't want to say 2 drafts in one, but certainly 2 drafts in terms of high draft picks. This year we got a first, we have 3 seconds, and that's got to be the plan. I met with Kroner about 2 weeks ago, and I would say over the last 2-3 days there was 2-3 teams that were tire kicking. You know, for I don't know, they were going to offer a ton, and I think what he's meant to this franchise and what he means to this franchise now in terms of leadership in this locker room, and with the young players. You know, I guess if somebody would have stepped up big time, you know, and I don't know what big time means, but I would have probably had a conversation with Kroner, but that didn't happen.
And with Gustav Nyquist, did it become, I mean, the sensible move to move him once you had talked contract and realized there probably wasn't common ground there, that then it just made more sense?
Yeah, I mean, we talked contract. His agent Wade Arnott and myself. You know, I guess I was conflicted a little bit because, you know, I was hoping coming into this season, you know, the team we had, I re-signed Mike Green. Obviously we went out and we signed 2 or 3 veteran players. I was hoping that we could be more competitive than what we are. I think on a night-to-night basis, we've been competitive enough to be in most hockey games. The games are exciting. We've made comebacks. But the reality is when you look at the standings, we're not nearly as competitive as we need to be to compete for a playoff spot. So, you know, as you work your way through January, February, and now today to the trade deadline, as I told Bob, I felt it was more important to grab more future. And I mean, that's the direction we're going. So to go out and re-sign and keep the team together, the team hasn't been quite good enough.